All right, welcome to the Sweet Talk. Today is Monday, April 26, 2021, and I am your host, Kim Matina. I am a Google certified trainer and educator, as well as a Google product expert for the Google for Education team, and I am a technology teacher. And today, I am so happy to have on my show my dear friend, Scott Meile, from my old school district at Hamilton Township from the William Davies Middle School. So welcome to the Sweet Talk.
Thank you. This has been a long dance. I've been trying to avoid it for as long as possible.
Oh, no. Let me tell you a little bit about Scott, okay? So first of all, Scott is an ELA teacher, and that's where his passion is, okay? He is still works at the William Davies Middle School in Hamilton Township in Atlantic County, not in Mercer County. And he actually took my job at the Davies School. He took it from me. No, he earned it. He earned it. I left. I went someplace else, and he took my job, and now he's the technology integration coach there and helping all the teachers
on Twitter. Just 40 people just left me.
Get out of here. So I'm so glad that, I know we've been going back and forth on Twitter and everything, keeping in touch and helping each other out during this whole time. But I'm glad that you actually made the time to be on the show, because it's always nice to see your face and actually, connect with you. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about yourself?
Oh, man, the lead-in. Yeah, I mean, like everyone else, when this all kind of happened, and I'm sure, Kim, you could explain, just like a lot of other people that kind of are in this role. I kind of saw it coming, like at the very end. Like I was like, the superintendent wants to meet with me about Google Meet, and people are calling me like, how do you, schedule things? And I'm like, guys, this is stuff I've been yelling about for a couple of weeks, but just about our relationship. It was something like when you were in the role that I am in now, we were, we kind of talk and we glance by each other. But then as you were leaving, oh my God, it was like eye-opening now, seeing what you were telling me then. And now I'm trying to like keep that stuff in mind. I was talking to you before we went on the air. I was like, oh my God, like so many of the things you told me are like coming true as we're sitting by. So,
I wouldn't lie to you, my friend.
I know that now. I wasn't worried about it. But like you said, I was an ELA teacher for 13 years, and then they took Kim's job, and you were going straight computer science, right? That was the original plan, and they wanted someone to work on the teacher side of it, and I had no interest of going for it because I had went for it 2 times earlier. So I was like, I'm good. Like I had just kind of found my groove in teaching ELA. I love my kids. My kids love me. Well, most of them.
Yeah, that's your passion, ELA teaching.
Yeah, like I had figured out how to do it, and
you didn't figure it out. You knew it already.
Man, I always tell the kids the story of like my son was being born. He's 9 now. I remember sitting in the classroom being like, can I do this the rest of my life? And something just kind of clicked and switched for me. And then I started kind of attacking it differently. And then, now we're talking about 5 or 6 years of just really being good. And then they're like, hey, why don't you be the tech coach? And I wasn't really sure about it. And then I really wasn't sure about it when I heard you were leaving. And it has just kind of taken me on this adventure where we are, creating library innovation projects. We're reimagining like student-led projects like our YPAR, the gamifying that we're going to talk about some today with you, and then cybersecurity, esports, artificial intelligence. I mean, our discussions you and I have had are just like they've gone across the gambit.
But isn't it nice though? I mean, as much as it's challenging, because you always have to be on your best game. And if you're not, you have to be honest about it and do what you need to do to try to be helpful. But isn't it nice to be able to be innovative in this role and be innovative and creative and push it out and then get the students and other staff members excited, like, is, to me, I find that to be more rewarding than, you know, it's a rewarding process. Like, that's the end product, you know, is trying to see them use that innovation in the classroom. It's really, it's full circle, you know?
Well, and you know, the advice given to by our former curriculum director, Lisa Daggett, was like, look, you can impact 60 kids, or you can impact all the kids, and that's like kind of what our job is like, we're trying to impact everyone. So the sense that I used to get from the 60 kids, like at the end of the year, where we kind of move on and I still connect with them, is great. But just the pessimist in me, I just love when we create something that people walk by that don't know what's going on, and they just scratch their heads like, how the heck did they do that? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That's the cool part about the job. I mean, the freedom to kind of be able to go in your own path, but at the same time, you have to have ownership of it. So like, if I'm doing it well, then people can be like, Scott Meile. But if something I, you know, flail on, then they'll be like, Scott Meile. Scott
Meile. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But if you're doing it well, nobody says anything to you.
No. You know they know.
You know they know. But when something goes wrong, they'll be the first one to tell you.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
I mean, they line up.
Yep. So that's why you got to keep the big smile on your face, take it all in, reflect, and then, you know, make changes. So it's all good. It's all good.
It's definitely.
It's all good. So I know today, and you know, back when I was in Davies, I know like you were one of the tech leader teachers, you know, always pushing out tech in the classroom with Newsela and Kahoot. You were like one of the first group of teachers at Davies to use those tools. And I always thought that you were, you know, more on the cutting edge, because you were using, you know, Edmodo at the time, and, you know, doing all these really cool write-in activities with the kids, all digital. So for you to be in this role, I think it's really a great opportunity for you and for everybody at your school. But my point is, I'm really happy to hear that you're going to be talking about some tools that may help gamify your classroom, and which I never heard of before. So I'm glad to hear about it and learn about it, as always. And also, you're going to talk about CommonLit, and that's something that I think can help other people as well. So, and I know you have a lot of other ideas that you want to mention too, about, you know, building the innovation center in the library and doing all the cybersecurity stuff. And, you know, I there's so much, right? Like we can go on and on and on. But let's try to bring it back down and talk about some of the tools that you did mention, like Bluekit. Is that how you say it? I never heard of it before. Like, so this is, you know, this is new to me.
Well, it is and it isn't, right? So like in the origin story of this gamifying the classroom, you're looking at like quizzes and you're looking at Quizlet, and they were flashcards, like they're online flashcards that people use to help study, remember facts, things like that. And they start adapting to like making it more interactive. And as we've evolved, and you see, like, as the Socrative, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, Socrative.
I mean, it was so funny today, Kim. Like, I spent 3 minutes watching YouTube videos of watching alternate people pronouncing it different ways until I got to the Socrative like website, and then I was like, okay, it's so creative.
Is that how they say it?
I don't know. It depends what country they're from.
Yeah, that's true too.
So you go through and you start with that, and then you've just noticed more over the last couple of years with Kahoot first coming in and then evolving into GimKit, and then GimKit's now evolving into Bluekit. And then you always had like Classcraft, which is more like Worlds of Wizardry, and you can find other interactive games, but it just has kind of turned up a notch. And especially when this term that, you know, makes my ears bleed, asynchronous learning is occurring, or, you know, the different things that administrators put on it. those things, those tools have become more and more important to where now like the entire lesson has to be built around that kind of learning. Like it can't just be Class Dojo. It has to be a Pear Deck or a Nearpod. And
it has to be engaging.
It has to be engaging. So it's kind of forced pedagogy to go in a certain direction, which, I mean, I know from my experience, like I had always been there and I've always been ahead of the curve. And I've just started to realize I was way too ahead of a curve, that I had to come back to the curve, but be on the front side of it.
Yeah.
So I have to revisit these tools and kind of bring it back to a part where I can show everyone what we're doing, where before I felt like I was doing stuff that I was too far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, you definitely were, but that's not a bad thing, because then you're leading by example too. Like there was a couple other teachers that followed your lead, but now in what you're doing in your role, you're right. You have to bring it back because not everyone has the same tech comfort as you do, and so you have to kind of bring it down to their level and then model for them.
Miss DeZallo. Shout out, Miss DeZallo. I'm with you, Miss DeZallo. I'm always with
you.
Jenny! But look at, and the things that you mentioned are like more about creating currency for the kids that the kids are willing to play with. And when you talk about like Minecraft and Roblox, like those kinds of currencies are so important to how the kids react to the game, because then there's a strategy aspect to it involved. So like, as much as I love Quizlet and I love quizzes and I love doing a Nearpod or a Pear Deck, having the kids do a Booklet is just, it brings a different level to it. Now, the disadvantages, which there are very few, are just like the library of Booklet is something that you have to kind of generate yourself. It's not as wide a library as you would see with Kahoot. Where Kahoot, so many people are using it, so many people are familiar with it, that the library, all I have to do is type in Disney. I can get thousands of Kahoots that are all lined up and ready for me to go.
So is this Booklet, is it free? Is it like, tell us a little bit about it. Like you're categorizing it as similar as a GimKit or Kahoot. So is it safe to say that it's like it flashes the question and then the students have to respond, multiple choice? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, there's different game modes, but yeah, basically you kind of laid it out. I mean, the kids are going to respond, but instead of just responding on their own, there's different competitions they can do. They can do a tug of war. It can be matched up into teams. They can do races. They can climb to the top. So it's all of the different combinations of games you might have seen individually at other sites, just that it's all kind of wrapped into one site. So, So it's just a place where, I mean, like in our classes this year, because I have been in a couple ELA classes, you can do a battle royale where it's about time, it's about accuracy, and it's about, you find out where those kids are. Where some of the other websites kind of work on, like the data warehouse, where they give you a pretty accurate readout of where the kids are, every single kid. These kind of more worry about the competition aspect, which is great. I mean, it's just fun. Like,
not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, every fit for every kid is not going to be the same. So it's just getting all kids involved in it.
So do you find a lot of the teachers at Davies, are they using this tool, or are they sticking to what they know more, like a GimKit or Kahoot?
Well, for me personally, with the experiences I've had with a lot of the staff, I mean, everyone is trying stuff, which is exciting to me. I'm like, we went years where nobody was trying anything.
I know.
So now, like everyone, I'm like, you guys went an entire, like not to everyone, I'm talking to some of my friends. You went an entire year, you didn't make a copy. I'm like, imagine what that would have happened ever in your life. And, people that ask about it, I kind of just try to lay out the basics like I'm talking with you about, but, they explore. I mean, I just know that there's a lot of exploration out there that probably wouldn't have happened from this pandemic if it didn't start with people trying to experience something new with their kids. I mean, people are spending more time preparing, and then that way they're getting more fulfillment with their kids.
That's an understatement. I mean, I think anybody and in any school across the world, they are trying new things, even because I know even where I am, like people were not tech savvy, and they were forced to do this. So they have no choice, you know what I mean? And then after a while, the kids get bored. They get bored of doing Flipgrid and, you know, GimKit or Nearpod. So you have to like switch it up, but then you got to still find that balance because you don't want to, you don't want to overload them either, and overwhelm people and then kind of like, you don't want to burn them out, even though they may already be on the fringe of burned out. It's a balance thing. It really is. It's tough, because you got people that are using tech that never used it before. And yeah, their learning curve went from here to here, which is great. And hopefully they still stay up here, when we go back to normal in September. But some people are going to drop back, and they may even drop back down to what they're comfortable doing. And that would be before the pandemic, So it'll be interesting to see what happens in September when we go, hopefully, back to normal,
And again, like even in this, like, where you might have done this podcast with me in person, one skill that everyone will definitely have is they will be able to use video.
I know, right?
We will have video down. So
who would have thought that you have to like juggle the waiting room, the chat, and then live stream, and then share your screen, and oh goodness gracious, it's crazy, right?
The experience has been, I mean, to go back to the beginning of this particular school year, one of our teachers retired, and they were like, "Hey, we need you to fill in until we hire a substitute." So the first trimester, I was in a 7th grade ELA class all day. So my tech coaching was very limited, but all day I was in a room with, 20 some black boxes talking to them. And I moved back to my position. They hired someone to come in for the final 2/3 of the year. And like, I miss that interaction. And I think that's the thing you're going to notice when teachers come back is that interaction, that personal touch. That's where I think a lot of teachers make their gravy. Like they're just able to connect, and kids are able to connect with them. And that's where you see that. And that was like really tough this year. Like for me personally, was going back into the classroom for that little bit and saying like, oh man, I really still love this. But at the same point, I also like my current job.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to change that. But I also like you said at the beginning, being around those other kids. I think those teachers coming back will have that connection, will have that experience, and it'll be a lot easier for them.
Yeah, I agree. It was rough. Like I know, like even with me with Robotics Club, we did it virtual this year. And, we went from building robots with Lego EV3 Mindstorms. I had a big table in my room, and we were working on the mat, and we went into competition last year. We went from that to all virtual, where the kids aren't even they don't even have their cameras on. Yeah. And then they're not even speaking to me. They're putting everything in chat. And it was just like, no, it's an adjustment. It really is. Like if somebody would have told me this 2 years ago that this was going to happen, I would have laughed at them, right. But I mean, it is what it is, you got to make the best of it. But you're right. Like I think gamifying the classroom definitely is another method of engaging the students into your content. You don't always have to use a Nearpod or Pear Deck, or even another like Google app like Jamboard. You can gamify it and make it fun and make it competitive, because I think sometimes that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing always.
It's forcing interaction. I
mean,
that was the easiest part about school before, was the kids were faced with each other all the time. And with the current state of school, like there's a lot of kids that don't interact. And, you go onto your Go Guardian we have at school, and you see a kid hasn't moved for 20 minutes and, isn't engaged. At school, it would be real easy to detect that, because it would be a kid with his head down or a kid staring out the wall or whatever. It's much harder. And like you said, the situation with the cameras and the backgrounds, like, I was covered in stickers one day because you told me that. Like, that would get me.
Did you do it?
Of course. And then you know, by the third day, I had like one sticker on the end of my nose.
At least it worked for 2 days.
Yeah, it was a fun 2 days, but
They were fun, right? You should have took a picture.
absolutely not. Snapchat was fine. Send it out to my wife.
I'll have to talk to Nicole and see if she can dig it up for me. That's awesome. And then, so what is this grade transfer? What is this? So I know, like, you know, you guys are using Genesis, and you have some kind of, what do you have? Like some kind of grade or some kind of application that takes the grade from Google Classroom and puts it into Genesis?
Right. So it's a Google Chrome extension. It's called Grade Transfer. And what it does is, if you go into your Google Classroom where you have an assignment, you can click to take in the assignment grades that you have posted in Classroom. And then you copy that, and then you go into your Genesis or whatever your student portal is, and you can paste them right into the assignment. So you just have to create the category for it, and then you can automatically paste it in. So it saves countless time. I think it was one of the biggest things that
So it's a Google Chrome extension. I'm going to put it in the chat. And it's called Grade Transfer. Okay. Oh, we lost them. What happened?
I hit Grade Transfer. Shut the whole computer down.
Listen, Mr. Meile, I never have these tech issues, and then you come on and you're throwing me for a loop here. So
I apologize.
So great. So if you want to share your screen, you can share your screen. So on the bottom, you see there's a share button.
Yep.
So if you click on that, and then I'll add it to the stream.
You got it.
Now, does this Chrome extension work only with Genesis, or does it work with any other student management system?
It works with almost every student management system. It's not, I don't know why it's not letting me do it. All right, let's see. It's up here. So it's going to be small. I don't know if you're going to be able to see much, but it's basically just talking about the different things that I'll transfer from. So Creative, Amplify, EduElastic, AP Classroom, Zip Grade, Study Island.
All right, so you have to click on your other screen.
Right.
Or your other tab.
So let me see if I can get it up.
There you go.
Is it up?
Yep, I see your black screen. Let me see if I can zoom in. Well,
Right.
Okay, I see it. Yep.
So you see, it's literally just about grabbing data, and then it'll paste the data right into the other screen. So it'll take it right from your Google Classroom and put it into Genesis.
So the Google Classroom assignment, what did you say? It had to be the same category or the same topic? What was that?
Nope, not at all. I mean, whatever you call it on Google Classroom, you're just going to grab the data off of Google Classroom, and then you can paste it into anything you want onto Genesis. So if I call it on Google Classroom, you know, reading Edgar Allan Poe, and then I go on to Genesis and I'm like, reading sample number 1, it'll plug right in. What it's basically doing is just kind of capturing everything at once and plugging it into Genesis all at one time. It was free. I think even when I talked to you last time, it was a free application, but now you're seeing it that it's $249 a month. They offered a lifetime subscription if you donated anything to the cause. And I donated $5, so I have a lifetime subscription.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, but there were some other teachers who were asking me, like, what happened to grade transfer? What happened? I'm like, nothing. Like, you should have donated when the guy asked for the donation.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that happens. And you know, as well as anyone, Google Classroom is getting closer and closer to being able to do that themselves, that it might not be needed as an extension soon. But, you know, as of right now, it's just been a big time saver for a lot of our staff.
Okay, so that's cool. That's good to know. I'm wondering if that's I have to see if if that's compatible with OnCourse, because we're using OnCourse at Galloway.
I believe it is.
Is
because I've talked to other teachers in other districts, and it seems to work almost everywhere. I wasn't the first one to catch it. It was, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting who it was right now, but their husband had used it at Buna, and they had said that, it was something that you should check out. And again, like at the time, it was just like a time saver. You know what I mean? It's just something that anybody's looking to save time, to get something off my plate, something that's going to take up less of my time than me being with the students and helping them out.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of what I hear too. Like, well, Google Classroom is great, but teachers don't want to enter the grade twice, like once in Google Classroom, return it to the kids, and then go back into their grade book and enter the grade. So for us, that missing piece is not accommodating at all. We like most teachers are using OnCourse Classroom just because it moves everything right into the grade book, automatically. Teachers don't have to initiate the workflow. It does that automatically and you're done. Whereas in Google Classroom, you have to manually put it in still. So, we had, I want to say more than half of the teachers in my building are using OnCourse Classroom this year. We don't have as many people using Google Classroom this year, which, it is what it is, Yeah. And now with the new updates with Google Workspace, right? It's, the paid version is going to have all that integration with Kahoot and Adobe Spark, and there was IXL, and there was something else too. So I don't know, I guess it's just a wait and see what happens. I'm not sure.
Well, it's just, I mean, me, I'm an Edmodo guy to begin with, and it's constantly evolving. Like what I like so much about Edmodo were just the cool SEL games and the things that were associated with it. But I moved to Google because as a Google school, like I want to make the most for the students. And then as we have evolved, it was at one point I was assigning stuff on the Google Classroom and then just grading it on Genesis because I knew the students were checking the Genesis grade. They didn't really care about the Google Classroom grade. But now when I'm talking about parents, the parents get the most feedback from the Google Classroom. And that's where I want, the interaction. I want the whole family to be involved in the students' investment in their grade. So it was a conscious decision this year, make sure that whatever I was posting on Genesis was also on Google Classroom, because one parent might not be checking the other, and it's just like you want everything to be equitable. It's another famous word we're going to hear this year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You can find it anywhere. So, what Grade Transfer did for me and what we were talking about with staff is just like it's an easy switch. It's an easy way to get data over so that there's multiple people and multiple families that can get to it and pinpoint it pretty quickly.
Well, that's good. At least you found it helpful, and it took away some of that extra work or that workflow or a time saver and stuff like that. So that's good. I'm going to check it out anyway and see, what I can learn about it. And then I'll let you know through Twitter, and see.
Yeah, you'll post your level 3 mastery of it with a badge, and I'll be like, oh.
Nah. I'll just message you privately, and then I'll put a big, some kind of big GIF in there or something.
There you go.
Oh man, you're too funny. I actually have to say, I think I think our district actually piloted or they purchased Newsela.
Thank God. I still to this day I've been screaming about this for 10 years.
I know.
It's the best product.
It is. I know you. You were proactive about it back when I was there, like you said, 8-10 years ago. It's crazy, I
was tweeting back and forth with the owner, and I was getting headway with the guy, and now they're worth way more. It's just they have everything. I love Newsela. I always have. I just think they kind of hit all the right buttons, but it is what it is. It's an expensive product.
Yeah. It's expensive, but if you just give it to the ELA teachers and maybe special ed, It might be less, less costly, but I don't know. It's a good product though. I know you're, a fan, so that's why I brought it up.
I just feel bad for the sales guys. They reach out to me every spring, and I'm like, I'll try, guys. Like, I'll try.
That's what you could do, write out a grant.
Oh man, like I know we're getting late.
It's all
Dude,
good.
all my grant and time goes into that library. I'm just trying to get stuff for the library. I'm so excited for this Glowforge. I'm so pumped.
Why don't you tell us about what are you doing in the library? Let's talk about your library project.
It's not mine. It's ours. Dawn Dwelly, myself, the other people involved, Ms. Hooper, Mr. Palmatieri, a bunch of people at Davies. We're charged with kind of reinvigorating the library. And what I did was I went to Stanley Black & Decker. And we went and talked to everyone at Stanley about a competition they were having. And I said, like, look, we're going to enter. We're going to try to get the students involved. The students have to, you have to put in entries. And I kind of rigged their Chrome tab so that every day they could click on it and just, type in their name and enter. And went to every student's classroom in the 6th and 7th grade, got 10 minutes in each class, and just kind of said, hey, I need you to do me a favor. We're going to make a really cool library. And Miss Dwelly just kept shaking her head the whole time. And then by May, we had won $25,000. Not a grant, just
that's awesome.
Straight cash, homie, straight cash.
Wow, that's the best way to get it.
Right. So everyone's like, so how are you going to do this with the grant? I'm like, I'm not. We're just going to buy stuff for the library.
Yeah, buy stuff. So what'd you buy?
We started off in Tower Gardens. Those vertical growing.
That's right.
We bought them. Of course, Jamboard. We wanted to create a station where there could be some collaborative learning. The Stanley Black & Decker wanted, obviously, us to have some Stanley Black & Decker. So we have really cool toolboxes. We have vices. We have saws. We have hammers. You want to build something, you can come to our library, which sounds weird, but it's pretty cool.
That's cool. You still got the green screen in there?
We still have the green screen in there. I got to talk to you about that green screen. The audio is so tough with that green screen in there.
What else do you have in that library?
Our VR station is, we have about a half dozen VR headsets. We have some Oculus headsets. We have 3 more that are ordered and hopefully coming. And then our Glowforge, which I go onto their website and look at their commercial and look how simple and easy it is. It looks like the coolest thing on earth.
Glowforge? Like Glowforge?
Glowforge.
Okay.
It's a laser engraver. And this is from Mike himself. And he's like, you need one of these. And it looks really cool.
Who said that?
Michael Draper, the tech coach.
Yep.
Yes. And now that I've purchased it, or not I, the school has purchased it, and it's coming in, and I'm reading, like, this thing's business. Like, it is serious. Like, we need safety goggles. We need rules. We need to be really super ultra careful with it. But it could be something we could utilize in the library, especially with design and things like that we're trying to get going.
I think that I went to with Bellhaven Middle School. They had a STEM conference there. I think I saw you there.
You did.
Right before, like the year before COVID hit. And then their woodshop teacher had one. And I couldn't believe, I don't know if it was this particular model, but he had a machine similar to this, and I couldn't believe all the things that he made, like the kids made, and he had in his classroom. It was crazy. That was a good investment, because I think the kids will definitely they'll design, and then they'll scale it, and then they'll print it. Like, they'll actually go through that whole engineering design process. So when is it coming in?
Next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're excited about that. And then just like kind of updating just furniture and things are our next goal, and trying to get more like movable, communal kind of stuff that we can get going. And And then at the end of the day, Miss Bettina, I really want to get the esports up and moving. Like, I just think we're heading in that direction. I know you pointed me towards Chris months and months and months ago, and we're, just keep meeting upon that. But as you know, as the tech coach, like, your word only goes so far. Like,
yeah, I know. Well, they wrote a new book too. I don't know. It's something playbook or something.
Yep.
And so that might have some helpful information in there.
So yeah, we're trying, but like upgrading hardware. I mean, that's like our big thing now. It's just trying to get more hardware to the point where we can be, a futuristic school, so to speak. And I know that term's overused, but that's like a lot of it's hardware, and that's tough because it's tough to get.
It's all money.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
12 computers that can really fly. I mean, it's $30,000. I don't care how you slice it.
Yeah. So now, what kind of computer is going to run the machine?
The Glowforge actually connects to almost anything. I mean, you can connect an iPad to it. You can connect your Chromebook. So it's all web-based. So.
That's good. At least you don't have to install special software and.
Nothing like that. I mean, even like when I was talking about my Mac computer that I have, like that was my main concern, because that's my main computer at school, and that they said, no, you'll be fine with that. Anything web based, you'll be absolutely fine with it. But it's not like one of those printers where you can just leave. Like in the commercial, you're like having your coffee, you hit the button, you come back 3 hours later, everything's fine. They're like,
you have to babysit it, right?
Yeah, you got to be on top of it.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm sure it takes a long time to print things, right? I mean,
it's. I hope it's better than some of those 3D printers that with the filament and like, oh my gosh, some of those projects have been crazy.
Hours.
Yeah. Like you set the time, they're like 12 hours, come back, and you're like,
yeah.
You come back the next day and there's just a pile.
Yeah, if it's all messed up, you got to do it again. Like that's the worst part,
Yeah, I don't want to deal with filament anymore in any sense. I'll take a laser.
I'll have to check in with you and see how everything is after you get it all set up. I'd be curious to see, how it's going.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Trying. And then like just trying to get things moving again. And like you said at the beginning, like just getting back to normal in the fall, some sense of normal. And getting the kids, because they're my best labor force. I need
that's true.
I can't. I need like a couple dozen kids that are really into it, like I am, and they usually help me do a lot of the good stuff. So
it'll all go back to normal sooner or later.
But
until then, you're gonna have to be your own one-man show. You're gonna have to do it all yourself. I think you can handle it.
Always.
Get Draper in there and have him help you.
I got a couple good mentors, so I can always reach out to them.
Yeah. I'm here too. So
this
I have no. Oh, well, this I don't have any idea about, but I would definitely, I can, if I can, I'd try to help you out as much as I could, But yeah, definitely. Oh, maybe I'll have to come over and take a little visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I mean,
it might take you a couple months to get it going. Like,
just like
I want to see the best project.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just like every half my projects that run by you're like, that's gonna take some months. I'm like, I know.
It's all good. Hey, as long as you're trying, I mean, that's all that matters. We have to. I don't know. We have to offer all that stuff, and we have to like put it out there. And if we don't, then we're not doing any justice or service to the kids.
Absolutely.
So you're doing a good job, Scott.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for this. This is cool. Like I said, it's something we've been dancing around, and I really wanted to make time to do it. And I know, I knew sitting back talking to you, as much as we message each other, it would be a piece of cake. So
yeah, now this is fun. I mean, like, it's so easy, there's no effort to it. You just talk and you have a good time. It's no stress, and we're just two old buddies. That's it. All right. So I think that will conclude our show tonight. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? I know, I don't want to keep you away from Nicole or your kids. I know you told them to keep you, stay away from you for a little bit. I don't want to take any more time away from the family.
No. I'm all good.
You sure?
I've had a great time. Thank you so much for having me on. Really nice.
All right. Well, let me wrap up the show. So that concludes the show for tonight. I'm going to share my screen really quick. All right. So if you'd like to visit my website, it's thesweettalk.com. That's the SUITE talk.com. And you can check out the homepage. And this episode will be listed here as well as the podcast. If you'd like to support my mission and help me pay it forward and become a sponsor, please fill out my sponsor form. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can fill out the guest inquiry form and pay it forward, share your thoughts, your work, so that others can learn from you. Right now I'm scheduling for August. And you can always go to the episode page and you can see all of the past episodes that I did as soon as it loads. The YouTube link will be here, and then the show notes will be here as well. Jamboard, if you're using Jamboard and you need some inspiration, you can go to the Jamboard page. You can check out my resources here. And if you're using Jamboard and you want to share your idea with me and be featured in my presentation, you can fill out this form here and I will add it to the presentation. And I do have to say that I'm having another book come out soon, Scott.
Nice.
I'll give you it. I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Guess which one? Guess what it's about.
Jamboard.
It's about Jamboard. So expect that in the mail whenever I get it. It should be coming out soon.
Well, hopefully it'll be in person. I'll take one in person at that point.
Yeah, maybe I'll meet you somewhere in the summer. And
we know our LBI stomping grounds, Miss Martina. We know where we go.
Wait, when you're in my neighborhood, you got to let me know,
You got it. Every time.
All right. Well, you stay on, and I'm going to say goodbye to everybody else. Until next time, have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
Happy birthday, Pete. Happy birthday.